If you think selling HVAC is tough now, wait till the end of the year. We're getting ready to separate the boys from the men. Hey guys, Pete Ramsey here, HVAC Greatness. Listen to me on this one. If you're going to be successful in selling HVAC or anything for that matter in 2024, especially beyond 2025 and such, you need to pay attention to this. Things have been moving for a long time. I've been talking about this for a long time. You should be starting to feel that now. We're going into the summer and it's just not as busy. Wait until this event happens. It's going to shake a lot of people up, and most of you who are in business and watching this are not prepared, and that puts you exposed to potential failure. It puts you at risk. So follow me on this one. Think about what I'm telling you, because this is crucially important. Number one, the economy is tough financially. Financially is very personal. It's an emotional thing. When you're starting to deal with money and it gets tight, people get emotional. Now, how are you going to charge me $500 to change out that thing, right? How are you going to charge me $20,000 for a new heating and air conditioning system? I don't have that kind of money right now, okay? But the upside is that we are essential services, okay? A lot of things are being squeezed right now, and we're seeing these stores do these clearances on commodities, on electronics, on appliances, on all types of things, and they're going to continue to plummet because what's really needed is what continues to hold its value. So your business has a unique position in that as times get tougher and tougher, they still need us, okay? Especially if you're service oriented. Now, with that said, you have to understand, and you should know this, that there are different customer types. And I'm going to talk about two categories here. We're talking about the experience-based customers. We're talking about the value-based customers. Get me something of cheap, because I don't have a lot of people consider value as like, adding value. That's true. But what I'm talking about is people who are looking for something cheap. They're going to compare you to the competition. And because money is very emotional, they're going to make a decision just on that, but not the experience-based customers. If you've been in business any length of time, you know that there are different customer types. You know that subconsciously, but consciously you need to know this. You can go after a specific customer type and position yourself to attract them. And experience-based customers who have financial means and those who need financing are your targets if you know what you're doing. But if you think you're going to do that because your work speaks for itself, I'm telling you, people don't make decisions logically. You've sat in the house, you've gone through every reason why your offering is so much better than everybody else's, and they still went with the other one. Why? Because people buy for emotional reasons, that's subconscious, and they justify their purchases or their decisions for logical reasons. So there are 4 key things that you need to get up to the next level, the highest level possible, if you're going to be a player going forward. If not, you may be one of those companies that are closing their doors and having to go back in the field again and work for one of the bigger companies who have figured this out. Okay, so if we're focusing on emotion, let's talk about these 4 different categories. Number 1 is a new strategy. It's not enough to just be heating and air conditioning. You have to put yourself out there in a way that the consumers, your ideal customers or avatars, see something desirable about the uniqueness of your company or its offer or something about it, okay? That is a relative emotion. It's relative to that type of person. And so they value that in you, and you get their attention. Number 2 is your pricing must be dialed in. The money's going to affect us all, okay? You're not going to make the same profit margins that you used to. Look at me here. Your customers are trying to push your price down. Inflation and your vendors are trying to push price up. They want to make money too. And there you are in the middle getting squeezed, making less and less. And if you can't at least make your overhead, you're going out of business. So we're going to have to look at your overhead. We're going to have to look at what's essential and what's not. And, advertising and marketing, for example, is one of the first things that gets cut. Now, you don't need to cut that. You need to utilize that smarter, for example. So that's a relative emotion. The next item is packaging. Okay. This is a self-evident emotion for experience-based customers. They know, based on their history, that if it looks clean-cut, professional, and polished, the services must be superior. The end result must be better. And they perceive you not by the level of the work that you're doing. They may tell you that, but subconsciously, which is the emotional part of the brain. So emotional and subconscious, we're talking about the same thing here, interchangeable. We have to have the psychology built into your packaging. I'm talking about your branding. Take a look at some of these. These are companies that have rebranded and have taken, or many of them completely, some of them just refreshed their brand, updated their brand, and things of this nature. If you don't look like you're this level of clean and polished and popping, if you can't put your brand against these and not outperform many of them, you're not ready. You need to up your game on this. That's why I'm working with Fortitude. He's working with me, and we're helping with the strategy that gives you that unique marketing position, as well as the branding that doesn't cost you an arm and a leg. I mean, it's not cheap to work with a professional. We're not talking about your local wrap guy. No knock on them. They wrap well, they do signage well, they do the computers well. We're talking about working with an artist, somebody who can bring something alive and have an emotional connection when they just look at your brand. Okay, that is also emotional, it's subconscious. And finally, there's your processes. This is where the emotional connection is personal. This is your salesperson, your comfort advisor. Do they know how to sell emotionally? Do they know how to sell, or are they just selling based on price? Okay, do they have a process? It is changing. Okay, the old high pressure sales, gone. The old consultative sales in of itself, it's still part of that, but it's been greatly diminished. We have to bring the emotional in. Okay, so those are the four things. We've got the strategy. This is a unique marketing position. It's not just heating and air. We've got the pricing. You're going to have to go low, or you're going to have to get competitive, because there are people that are going to just work for food. It's going to be that bad in some markets and in some cases. So you have to be thinking ahead. You have to be getting better deals from your suppliers and getting better pricing from your customers, so that that little bit of money that's being made is maximized, or at least the level where you are above your overhead and your cost to operate your business, because we are a for-profit business, right? We don't necessarily have to retire during this, based on this tough times on people's backs. We do have to come into a reasonable level of affordability for them, but we still have to take care of our families, right? So we got to meet our numbers. Right. So, and then packaging, that means branding, that means your uniforms, that means your website, that means your logos, that means your messaging when you're advertising. It needs to be emotional. It needs to touch them subconsciously. And they don't measure your quality of service based on your technical skills or your technical tasks or your craftsmanship. They base it based on the way you look. And it's not fair. But guess what? You can fix that. We have something called plastic surgery for your business. And that's why you want to look at professional branding, not on the cheap. Okay, this is an investment. You want to do it right. I've taught you on the pricing. For those of you who have worked on the net profit pricing model, we've cleaned out this mess of this whole GP pricing or this dual overhead, marking up parts off of some chart. Guys, you need a program that's going to dial you in. You know exactly what your break even is on every job. And that's what we've done with that. So hopefully you have taken advantage of that program. The unique marketing position is something that you need to do. That's part of the HVAC greatness. We've been preaching that for the longest time. And we've also been talking about the processes. That's the customer touch point, the experience where their emotion is connected to your frontline people, whether it's the comfort advisor or the technician or the installers or the maintenance person or whatever other service that you're offering. We have to make them feel emotionally like, wow, I may have paid a little bit more money, but that was a wise investment. And I know that because my gut told me. That's emotional, it's subconscious. I know I'm beating this up, but this is really, really important, guys. Don't miss this. Don't go on the cheap. Don't start cutting out stuff that you don't need to be cutting out. You need to be investing in your business, not cutting costs. And you're going to see, watch it. You're going to see you're going to see prices plummet. We're going to see businesses go out, and we're going to see people panic and start offering the lowest deal. Know who your customer is. Know who the experience-based customer is, who understands that, you know what, this is an investment in my home, and I'm gonna be smart about it, but I'm gonna go with a quality organization. I'm not gonna drop and go with this guy that's running this ad and he works out of his basement or his garage or whatever. I'm gonna work with an organization. Now, what they may do, and this is a really good opportunity for you, is they may pull away from the mega company in your market or those bigger companies in lieu of another professional company that they'll judge you by the visual elements that you present them with, but they're going to go with somebody maybe a little bit smaller, maybe with a little less overhead. Maybe they can get that same quality of work and dependability and stability, but yet in a smaller, more family-owned business. Maybe I don't need to go to 100, 200, 300 employee company. Maybe I can work with a 50 employee company, a 20 employee company, an 8 or 10 employee company. But most of those level customers are not going to go down to the one-man owner operator unless there is something special about them that they're able to get out of that. So Pete Ramsey here, HVAC Greatness. Put this to work. Start following me. We're going to put some pricing and sales training out there. We've already done the pricing in terms of the net profit, but we're going to show you some other stuff that you can do on sales and on selling equipment. We've already done it on the technician processes. We've got those programs in place. Reach out, find out how you can get your team equipped, but package yourself, get branded, get your pricing right. Attack this as a strategy. Go after a specific customer type and don't wait until everything's perfect, because you might just miss the boat. Pete Ramsey here, HVAC Greatness. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.